Hi, this is Shukanto and you are watching my channel History Online. Video I am going to discuss chapter number 3, class 10 ICSE history part. So chapter number 3 is first phase of Indian national movement. First phase of Indian national movement, and in this chapter you have to learn according to your syllabus, and your syllabus is, or in this chapter you have to learn about the objectives and methods of struggle of early nationalists, and then the contributions of some of the early nationalist leader like Surendranath Banerjee, Dadabhai Naoroji and Gopal Krishna Gokhale. The revolt of 1857, many political organizations actually founded by the Indian leaders. Like Surendranath Banerjee founded Indian Association, Dadabhai Naoroji founded East India Association. So like all these, so many political organizations founded. Finally, in 1885, National Congress or All India Political Party or National Congress founded under the leadership of Umesh Chandra Banerjee, Surendranath Banerjee, Dadabhai Naoroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Alan Octavian Hume. So all these leaders founded the first all Indian political organization, National Congress. And after the formation of National Congress, the Indian National Congress gradually evolved into a powerful political organization by bringing together prominent representatives from different parts of the country. The annual sessions of the Congress gave a reality to the ideal of national unity. The history of India's political struggle for independence under the guidance of National Congress can be studied under three phases. The first one is moderate phase or the early nationalist phase from 1885 or from the formation of National Congress to 1905, and then the assertive phase or and after that Gandhian era. So assertive phase from 1905 or 7 to 1916, and Gandhian era from 1916 to 1947-48. Early nationalist leaders were Umesh Chandra Banerjee, Rasbihari Ghosh, Surendranath Banerjee, R.C. Datta from Bengal, Dadabhai Naoroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Firoz Shah Mehta, Justice Ranade from Maharashtra and Gujarat, P.R. Naidu, Subramaniam Iyer, Ananda Charlu from Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, Pandit Madan Mohan Malabhya from Uttar Pradesh, and liberal Englishmen like Hume and Wedderburn. So these were some early nationalists leader, and now I will discuss about their beliefs, what they believe about the British authority and about the Britishers. So firstly, the early nationalists had unlimited faith in the British sense of justice and fair play. Secondly, they did not want to overthrow British rule by violence. They asked for certain constitutional and other reforms which in the framework of the British rule. So in the initial stage or moderate leaders, they did not want to overthrow the British rule. They did not they did not demand any type of independence from the British rule. They actually demanded some constitutional reforms, okay, constitutional administrative economic reforms from the British government and within the British rule. Thirdly, they believed that the British would help India in governing herself as per the Western standard. The British rule was fortunate for India. So they did not demand independence. They actually demanded some constitutional, administrative, economic reforms from the British authority. The moderates adopted peaceful and constitutional means for presenting their demands and grievances in front of the British government. The method, popularly known as constitutional agitation method, was followed by the early nationalist leader, mainly to fulfill their demands. Now I am coming to the objectives of early nationalists. Their early nationalist leader, they had mainly two objectives. First one was to educate people in India in modern politics, to arouse national political consciousness, and to create a united public opinion. And to fulfill their aim, their objective, what they did, they held meetings where speeches were made and resolutions for popular demands were passed. They made use of the press to criticize government policies, especially the government oppressive policies. And thirdly, they sent memorandums and petitions to government officials and the British Parliament. So their first aim was or first objective was to educate people, and for that they actually held meetings, and they made use of press to criticize the government policies, mainly oppressive policies, and after that they sent memorandum and petition to the government officials. The objective of the moderate leaders was to influence the British government and the British public, and to achieve this objective they followed some methods, like they made use of the 3 P's, that is petition, prayer and protest. They sent petitions or written demands and requests and letters of protest to the British government to look into the problems of the Indians. British Committee of Indian National Congress was sent up to in England in 1889, which published a weekly journal India to present India's case before the British public. So the moderate leaders, they had mainly two objectives. First one was to educate people in modern politics, mainly to arouse the political consciousness among them, to organize the people, and the second one was to influence the British government or to influence the British public. And to achieve their objectives, the moderate leaders, they used one method known as the constitutional agitation, and they made use of 3 P's: prayer, petition and protest. Now I am coming to the last part of this chapter, that is the contribution of early nationalist leaders, mainly Dadabhai Naoroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale and Surendranath Banerjee. The contributions of moderate leaders or the early nationalist leaders. Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendranath Banerjee and Gopal Krishna Gokhale, they played an important role in the history of National Congress and in the history of India's freedom struggle movement.
Born in 1825 in a Parsi family in Bombay, Dadabhai Naoroji came to be regarded as a prominent statesman of the national movement. He was called the Grand Old Man of India. He distinguished himself as a professor of mathematics in Enfield College, Bombay, before being elected to the Bombay Municipal Corporation and the Town Council. Dadabhai Naoroji spent a considerable part of his career in England, and he was known as the unofficial ambassador of India. In 1866, he founded the East India Association in London to inform the British about the true state of affairs in India. He was the first Indian who had won a seat in 1892 in British House of Commons. It was due to his efforts the British House of Commons passed a resolution that ICS or Indian Civil Service examination would be held simultaneously both in England and in India. He was one of the founders of National Congress and was elected as the President of Congress thrice, in 1886, 1893 and in 1906. The famous resolutions on self-government, boycott, Swadeshi and national education were passed by the Congress under his presidency. His historic address, read by Gopal Krishna Gokhale at Kolkata Congress 1906, put stress on the attainment of Swaraj. Dadabhai Naoroji edited Rast Goftar and started the magazine Dharma Margdarshak. His famous drain theory is contained in his book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. He explained in various ways in which Indian resources had been drained by the British, like salaries are paid to the members to the Indian Council, pension to the British officers, payments to War Office for maintaining British troops in India, profits of the British trading agencies, sending the savings to England by the British working in India. So Dadabhai Naoroji, in his book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, he gave the drain theory and where he exposed the real character of the Britishers. Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Gopal Krishna Gokhale was born at Kolhapur in Maharashtra in 1866. He was a professor of history and economics at Fergusson College in Pune. He was largely influenced by the ideals of Justice M.G. Ranade. He joined the Deccan Education Society founded by Justice Ranade. Gokhale became the most popular leader of the Indian National Congress. He presided over the Varanasi session of the Congress in 1905. Gokhale favored the use of constitutional means to achieve his goals. He opposed the policies of British government whenever necessary. He criticized the government in various ways, like incurring huge expenditure on the British Army, adopting the policy of racial discrimination in appointments to the higher posts, imposing production tax on cotton. He made a strong plea for the reforms of the Legislative Council and separation of judicial from the executive. He played an important role in the passage of Minto Morley reforms. Gokhale set up the Servants of India Society in 1905. The main aim of the society was to train Indian leaders who would dedicate themselves to the service of the nation. In 1902, Gokhale became the member of the Imperial Legislative Council. He pleaded in the council for reduction in salt duty or salt tax and the abolition of excise duty on cotton goods. He impressed upon the government to reduce the land revenue also. Gokhale went to South Africa where he helped Gandhiji in his fight against racial discrimination. The credit of persuading Gandhiji to return to India and join Indian public life also goes to Gokhale. In fact, Gandhiji accepted Gokhale as his political mentor or political guru. Gokhale died on February 15, 1915, when his popularity was at its peak. Surendranath Banerjee was a nationalist leader, popular journalist and dedicated educationist. He was born in Bengal in 1848. He was the first Indian to qualify for the Indian Civil Service examination. In 1921, he was appointed as Minister of Self-Government and Health by the Governor of Bengal. He was the first Indian to hold that position. He advocated use of constitutional methods for the attainment of India's goals. His famous sayings was, "Opposition where necessary, cooperation where possible." I will discuss his contributions in 3 points. First one is establishment of the Indian Association. To fight against the wrong policies of the Britishers, he founded the Indian Association in 1876. Its aim were to educate the people, to create strong public opinion in the country, and to arouse political consciousness and unity. Number 2, created an all India political organization. In order to create an all Indian political organization, Surendranath convened the Indian National Conference 1883 at Kolkata. Surendranath Banerjee's Indian National Conference merged with the Indian National Congress in 1886. As both organizations had similar objectives, he presided over 2 sessions of the National Congress in 1895 and 1902. Third one is political ideas. Banerjee edited a newspaper, Bengali, which served as a powerful medium for mobilizing public opinion. His book, Nation in the Making, gives an account of his political concern and his views about self-government. Banerjee started agitation against the License Act, Arms Act, Vernacular Press Act, mainly introduced by the Britishers, and against lowering the age from 21 to 19 years to appear in the ICS examination. He opposed the Morley-Minto reforms of 1909, which introduced separate electorates for the Hindus and the Muslims. He also opposed the division of Bengal by Lord Curzon in 1905. Banerjee, popularly known as the father of Indian nationalism, he died in 1925. So finally, this chart will provide you some important information about 3 nationalists or 3 early nationalists, Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendranath Banerjee and Gopal Krishna Gokhale. As Dadabhai Naoroji was regarded as the grand old man of India, Surendranath Banerjee, the father of Indian nationalism, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, the political guru or political mentor of Mahatma Gandhi. So these were the main 3 early nationalist leaders.
If you like this video, please like it, share with your friends, and please subscribe my channel.